I didn't choose geology, for example, as my dream
Okay.
study.
Okay.
I was
Glad to know. I will cut this part. So. Hi everyone. So this is second episode of the Science Podcast, second guest, and which is Reda Meftahi. Thanks, Reda, for accepting our invitation.
My pleasure.
I will start usually with a bold question, like, who are you? What do you do? If you can, try to be simple, but yeah.
Okay. I'm a geologist by trade.
Yep.
Have a French nationality. I'm 56 years old, and I worked in the oil and gas industry
Okay.
for most of my career. I started as a student, trainings, and then first job in the oil and gas industry. And since 2016, I took a turn towards the remote sensing and space industry.
Okay, thanks. And so I can see also from your label, you founded this company, Survintel. Am I correct?
Yes, you're correct. So it's not a complicated story. I wanted to get out of the oil and gas because of a lot of crisis cycles in the oil and gas.
Okay. Yeah.
It started to be difficult in 2015, and in 2016 there was this big crisis, and I think I had enough of this.
Okay.
And I had by chance the opportunity to join a startup in the Netherlands in remote sensing, trying to address the oil and gas market with a different kind of service. And I saw an interesting compatibility there. As a geologist, as a geoscientist, there were ways to do something, improve the information, improve the system, and still connected with the same kind of clients.
Okay. I will come back to this. I'm curious to know more about what you do now with your company. But coming back to what you say oil and gas, quite a lot of up and down. Is also, this is a curiosity, I don't know, I'm ignorant in this, is also quite stressful job in terms of workload and also traveling.
It is a kind of job that you basically get married to this type of job. You have to follow the work where it is. You don't make a choice by saying, I like Europe, I like Italy, I'm going to work from Italy. Well, work will be in the Middle East or in Africa or in Americas, and you have to move with your job. So it's all focused on the job. It's stressful, yes, because there's a lot of demand. There's a lot of important objectives. There's a lot of money involved, and it's always very stressful, yes.
So it's something, again, I don't know, I'm asking here. It's something that you think you can do while you are young without a family, or it's something complicated from the beginning anyway?
It's a good oil and gas industry was a good industry to start with.
Okay.
It's an industry that is rich. There's a lot of resources, a lot of money, a lot of expertise. It's very oriented towards science. Yeah, science is important. There's always a lot of research and developments, and it gives you an opportunity also to see more of your work. You see field work, you see work in the office, you meet people with a lot of expertise that travel the world, that change different type of jobs as well, because they like you to move in different sectors and different jobs in this industry. So for a young person, yes, it's good, especially that you're not attached too much to a place or to persons and you're free to travel. Yes, it's a very good experience as a first experience.
Okay. And I saw your background was structural geology. You started as, and then why you changed it to remote sensing? What was there was a single episode, or was a slow, let's say, change?
It was it was a gradual evolution.
Okay.
So my evolution started within the oil and gas industry, from a field geologist to a computer engineer. So first I was on the field. I was recording, taking back to the lab and doing a bit of mechanics on the samples, and slowly starting to use computers, software to do the work more efficiently, and then getting good at the software thing. I started moving into support of the system. Then people got interested in me to do some promotion of this system, so I started to do trainings and more and more I acquired a sense of understanding of data and data analysis. Always related to the geology and geoscience. Yeah, there's a lot of physics and chemistry around the earth science, and every data, when it's recorded by different means, always shows the same characteristics. So you get this feeling of how it works, what's good in the data, what's not, how to visualize it properly, how to clean it, how to trust it or not. And when I wanted to get out of this industry, the remote sensing industry is also about data. You need your satellites to do your recordings, and then you get raw data. And one thing I've learned from the oil and gas is that you never trust raw data. You always have to condition it, you have to clean it, you have to check its variability in time, and you end up with something very contained and very conditioned that you trust. And after that comes the job of trying to interpret it, understand what it means. I saw these as a great potential for doing new things, for discovering new ways, for having new understandings. So it was very fitting my scientific curiosity, and also the market demand, because everything, today everybody is worried about climate change. Yeah, is worried about transformations that nobody understands and that hurting the society, and we need to be preemptive about these changes. So there's a great opportunity there with all this remote sensing data.
What type of remote sensing data in particular you started training on?
Yeah, we work specifically with radar data. So SAR, synthetic aperture data, and the transformation into interferometric SAR. So SAR, displacement time series. That's
it was mainly to look, I don't know, the response of the reservoir. So, for example, injection, withdrawal, or
when I joined the company in the Netherlands, I worked for a company in the Netherlands for a little bit of time. The main focus was to check different level of subsidence on top of reservoirs. So when you were pumping, say, you would get subsidence, and when you were injecting, you would see an uplift. And that was clearly visible through a yearly cycle. But this is large scale, and this is easy because the data filter itself. The more information, the more you get, the more you reduce your uncertainty. So you can concatenate, average. That's how it started.
And what about today's? I think as a structural geologist, if you graduated today, do you think would be much more harder now to get into the oil and gas industry? Where is its future, by the way, also, because it's getting greener and greener. So what do you think, your impression, from considering you are in the sector, you have been in the sector? So.
That is a very interesting question. The oil and gas sector is changing. Okay, it's trying to reinvent itself because it's suffering from bad publicity. Okay, and it needs to do something better, and it has two things for it. First of all, as I said before, it's a very mature industry. It's an industry that knows how to work with difficult data and difficult areas. It knows it has developed a lot of technology to understand what the data means, and it learned from its mistakes. It's not to repeat its mistakes as well.
Yeah.
So now it is trying to evolve into more solar and wind and also gas storage. There's something more positive, I would say. And because there is this synergy of trying to change and do the things for the best, they also need to adapt. Yeah, I mean, storing a different type of gas is an unknown. You don't know how all the piping will react, the valves, the corroding, and everything. So it's an industry that has experience but still needs to learn something. So of course, fresh minds, new graduates will have the opportunity to be part of this discovery. So it's still very interesting for young graduates to join. And it's possible to do green things in the oil and gas reputation. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I remember when I studied during my master, it was like the Holy Grail. Like if you end up in the oil and gas industry at that time, and we're not talking like ages ago, we're talking about probably 10, 12 years ago, it was like the place to go.
It's the parallel is the same in the finance industry. Yeah. If you go work for a bank, this is where the money is. This is where you'll have the best job and you'll make the more money. For the for the energy industry, it was the exploration production of hydrocarbons. Yeah.
Okay. Wow. And then because I've been reading your CV and experiences in on LinkedIn. So after you graduated, you have been working on 9 different companies. So quite a long CV. And you have been doing both technical, scientific role and commercial one.
Yes.
Which one do you prefer, or what's the pro and cons of each of them? I mean, as a I thought before interviewing you and knowing you that you could just do scientific role. There was no way of doing commercial. But yeah.
So for me, it was a progressive and normal evolution. Yeah, I started scientific, but then you start to understand through your job that what you're doing has a commercial impact. It needs to generate money. It needs to bring money in the company. So you're always very aware that what you're doing needs to make money. So you understand this connection, and what makes sense scientifically doesn't necessarily make sense economically. So slowly, I started to understand how to combine science with economics.
Yeah.
And the evolution was from being an expert at something to become a teacher of something, to become doing the support of that thing, helping people sell it, not say the things that is impossible, but say things that would be attractive to the client. And then
what they want to hear.
exactly, but still that is possible to do.
Okay. Do you think it's easier as a path from a technical to a commercial role, or the other way around? I mean, you have done probably both the direction.
Yes, I ended up going from technical to commercial and back from commercial to technical. I've done the full circle.
The whole loop.
And well, it's the same. There's no easy way to do it. It's always a very complex process in both directions.
Okay.
You always have something new to learn.
It was mainly, this is my assumption, on the job training that you have, or you learn by doing it, or
no, I think most of it came from my own personality. I'm always very curious.
Okay.
And I try to analyze a problem and see the reason why we end up with a problem. And when you understand that, it's easier to figure out what would be the way to avoid that problem.
Okay.
So even being a scientific when people were telling me that they couldn't sell the ID or the product because the customer had these type of objections, I was finding the path
Okay.
to go around it. That's how it happened, and that was more because of curiosity, and I liked this interaction with the commercial people, and I started
Okay.
to understand what they were doing.
Yeah, I think probably again, this is my perception. Some, especially for the commercial side, is also how you, yeah, your mindset, you being probably an extrovert, because probably is also the way you interact with people, the social aspect of it, or creating connection.
There's two parts of being in a commercial world.
Yeah.
There is the part that you have to push your ID,
Mm-hmm.
and there you really are extrovert, and you really are pushing. Okay,
Okay.
you listen a little bit to what they're saying, but your main objective is to push your idea, is to get it there.
Mm-hmm.
And there is the part where you try to understand how you can do something for your benefits, but also for the benefits of the customer.
Okay.
Because if you keep pushing bad things to the customer, you lose the long-term relationship.
Okay.
It's really two different mindsets. The one who's trying to understand how to do things to benefit both the customer and your own company can't be in the same mindset as the one who needs to push the ID because he needs to sell, because he has a commission on a sale,
Okay.
and he can't take no for an answer.
Okay. And coming back to your CV, you have like, yeah, so many experiences. It's because I counted 9 of them. It's because at some point you get bored. For example, you want something new, you need new stimulus, or it's more like the flexibility is the sector itself, the oil and gas sector, that lead you to change job after few years.
It's a bit of both.
Okay.
So my personality is towards trying to find things exciting to do.
Okay.
But in terms of career,
Mm-hmm.
you have also to protect yourself. And when you see that you're running into a wall by not getting in phase with the job or with the management, it's either you stay there and you can cope, or you get affected, and it's better to leave and change.
Okay.
See, when you work in these big industries, very heavy industries that are focused on generating revenue,
Mm-hmm.
there's no place for sentimentality or people's health or things like that.
Okay.
You're just a number, and they need to get things moving. So it's up to you to understand how you work, and
Yeah.
if you see that it hurts you, it's better to change.
Wow. Yeah, it's a brutal word.
It is.
And then at some point you decided, okay, enough. Now I want to create my own company, startup. Why? And then I want to spend some time, because you are quite unique, where you decided, no, I want to create my own company. How complex is the process? I want to go, in the timeline of your decision, essentially.
Okay. Well, first of all, how I got there is because throughout my career, I had the chance, the opportunity to be in different roles, different positions.
Yeah.
I worked for big corporations. I also worked for startups. So I used to work in a very strict vertical hierarchy when you never talk to your big boss, to a small structure where you have lunch and discuss every day with the big boss. And I've seen there that it is very important to be able to do what you feel, to do what you want. And if you embark into a journey where you need to invent something, discover a new technology,
Mhm.
give it to the market, and make sure that it is used properly, it is something that requires a lot of important decisions from yourself. So if there is someone there on top of you that tells you, no, no, this is how you need to do it, it's not going to work. So it's something you have to do by yourself.
Okay.
And I made the decision that was better served by myself than trying to do it for someone else.
And this decision, to create your own company? Did it take a long time? Like something you plan years ahead? And
Yes, it was not my first try. Yeah, I
okay.
had several experiences in
Okay.
starting companies, and the mistake I made in the past was to
Mm-hmm.
try to do it alone without support.
Okay.
The things I've learned by trying and failing
Mm-hmm.
was to rely on a strong team to find the right partners and to work really as a team, because it's a very hard process. It's a process that is not rewarding very easily.
Okay.
You need to be very resilient, and you need to be supported.
And I believe your Survintel is based in Netherlands.
Yes.
How difficult is creating a business there, just to have an idea? Do you think, for example, in other country could be easier or more challenging?
I haven't looked in other countries because I was living in the Netherlands at the time,
Okay.
and it is quite easier.
Okay.
It's easy. It's an easy process. It was a very
Okay.
easy process. Yeah, yeah. In the Netherlands, the process of creating the company, the incorporation into the Chamber of Commerce and everything, it's a very easy process. And of course, there were also structures to help startups
Mm-hmm.
create themselves. I was part of the ISA Incubator
Yeah. Yeah.
in Noordwijk,
Mm-hmm.
and so it was a straightforward process, I would say.
Um, and you just mentioned this. I want to come back to that after. You say this time you essentially you learn by your own mistake in the past. So you decide, okay, I need a team. This team of colleagues you have now, it's people you met, I don't know, from university or through your previous employments.
Yes,
Um,
the most the most difficult thing, the
mm,
most difficult choice when you start is to trust people. It's not easy.
human things, yeah. Rather
Yes,
than technical, I think it's
yes, you need to trust people because you have to rely on these people. You know you're going into very difficult moments, and when times are difficult, you want these people to stay around, yeah?
yeah,
And you're also going to share secrets with these people. You're going to share secret information, important information, that if it's out of the company, it will stop your
yeah,
business, yeah?
yeah.
So that's the difficult thing. And there's no easy way to find these people. You have to rely most of it on luck, because someone
Okay.
is recommended by someone you know, and you give it a chance, or someone you work with and you think you have a good idea about the relationship, so you give it a chance. But at the end of the day, whatever you do is more luck than anything else.
Yeah, I think, yeah, you are, yeah, I understand and I agree. You need luck somehow.
Yes.
So some of these people you didn't know, or they were a referral from
Yes.
someone else. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, at the moment, it's working out well. I mean,
Yeah, it was not an easy thing.
mm,
At the beginning, I had a team that now is not here anymore. We've
okay,
we've changed completely. I had to restart with a new team, for
okay,
example. There are always conflicts and change of interest. Yeah,
mhm,
sometimes you have to make a decision to part ways. It could be easy or it could be difficult. It
yeah.
depends, but these things happen.
And you mentioned your company was, let's say, supported. I don't know if it's still supported, but at least initially from the ESA incubator. Is that correct?
Yeah, no, it's finished now. It's
Okay.
about 2.5 years, and then we were graduated, and the support ended. It's For us, it was a straightforward process because, well, I'm not a new graduate, and
Mm-hmm.
I had
Yeah.
the experience in the industry. I found a good team, so we had a robust business plan and robust business model. So we were accepted straight away.
Okay.
And we just went in there, had a little bit of financial support, a lot of material facility
Mm,
access, an office, etc. So that went smoothly. But they're also equipped for people who start from scratch with absolutely no ID. They have two
okay.
steps. The first
Okay.
steps, for example, is to check if your ID is robust enough.
Mm-hmm.
So they help you build your business plan, your business model. They help you go into all the things that could go wrong. And when you have something more solid base, I would say, to create a company, then they send you to the second phase where they help you incorporate your company and locate your company in the incubator. They give you some financial support.
Okay.
And there you are supposed to do your and most prototyping, yeah, get something,
Okay.
get a result.
Just for the viewers, ESA stands for the European Space Agency, but probably, yeah, people who are viewing this, they already know. And now, so it's a sort of loan you receive it from the ESA, or was like,
No, it's
okay.
it's a subsidy, so it's money
Okay.
you get. It's so it's not full cash. You receive 50K. It's you have to show to demonstrate that you spend this money to get it back
Okay.
from the incubator.
Okay. And also, I believe also it's not just the money, but also the networking event. They also support you in this.
Yes, they support.
Okay.
They give you well. Where it's interesting. Well, I didn't need this because we had our technology. We had a clear view of what we wanted
Okay.
to do. But for example, you have access to some IP developed by ESA, and they could help you to commercialize them. They have a technical support in place where you can ask questions and put in
Okay.
experts in the field that will guide you through the process. There are some networking events, some you get to meet some investors. They take you also to some technical fairs abroad. You could
Okay.
went to Germany and Belgium to meet some other people. So yeah, there's some
Okay.
big support.
And okay, no, thanks. Because I think there are a lot of people who probably are scared or they don't know at all how, let's say, to start this type of entrepreneurship path. I have a question, probably I forgot now. Yeah, before talking specifically about what you do now, how was important the network you built from your career now for your new companies somehow useful? I mean, there are now some of your previous employer are customers, or
Well,
it's different
when
things too.
when you go into entrepreneurship, you need help because time is against you, and you need as much help as you can. So everything that can contribute to helping is welcome. It could be friends, family, old colleagues, new people you
Okay.
meet at convention, and even on holiday. Help needs to come from all directions. You can't say no to help. You're
Okay.
always on the look for possibilities and people that can help you achieve something.
Okay.
So
And
to answer your question,
yeah.
from the oil and gas industry, help was more into technical validation because
Okay.
I moved from the oil and gas towards the remote sensing, but my customers now are more civil engineers. I'm in the civil engineering more than the energy sector. So in terms of this, there's not much connection between the energy and the civil engineering, but technically, when you do signal processing, technically it's similar. So I can still go back in my old colleagues to get some help.
I have another question. I forgot again, but I think, yeah, now if you can tell us more about what do you do with Survintel, because you say you sell service to companies about, I believe, for interpreting satellite data. What exactly are these services, if you, of course, without disclosing any IP or confidential information?
Oh, it's very easy. Remote sensing data is not easy because first of all, there's a lot of it.
Okay.
And when there is a lot of data, the first hurdle is the quality of the data. and you need to make sure that you're not polluted by outliers or false positives, and you need a field knowledge for that. So because we are looking at the Earth and we want to see the deformation of the Earth, we understand what can make sense, what is logic, what is geologically explainable, and what is probably an artifact. So a big part of our technology is based on conditioning the data, making the data, converting the remote sensing data into geological information. And once that's the first step, the second step is make sense of that. Once the data is trustworthy, and you want to make sense of it. You want to see what's going on. So we work a lot on the temporal coherency and the spatial coherency. And we developed algorithm to do smart gridding, so we can create maps of velocity changes, stress in different grid sizes. And because we have this knowledge from the oil and gas industry, we can also recreate data where there is no data by using the neighbors. In the remote sensing industry, people look at us with big eyes because when we say we create data when there is no data, they go like, "Oh, how do you do that?" But in the oil and gas, we do that all the day, every day. Yeah, we interpolate, we Krieg, so it's not something we invented.
And how important is AI? I mean, it's now on the word of on the mouth of everyone. Artificial intelligence, machine learning. Is that a big component of your company, your services?
Yes, we use AI, artificial intelligence, but not in the way people would think. Yeah, I've been into AI. Well, neural network. We were calling it in
the past.
in the past, very early in my career, and it's a very important statistical tool. It gives you an understanding of the trends in the data. It can reveal hidden changes. So we use it to condition the data, to clean the data.
Okay.
We actually use the artificial intelligence to condition the data and make it trustworthy. But for the interpretation, we use this one.
Our brain, yeah.
The
Our
old-fashioned.
intelligence.
Yes.
Okay. Coming back to your company, because you say when you start a journey like this, you have to be flexible, rely on family, friends, colleagues, previous colleagues. There was did you give yourself like a timeline and say, if I don't do much progress in a year, I will stop, I will change vision of the company? There were like moments where you say, no, I'm giving up now.
Now, I would carry on until the last minute. But my wife is making sure that I have the boundaries set properly.
Okay. Is your wife a geologist or remote sensing somehow?
No, my wife is
Okay.
from the financial.
Okay.
So
I mean, she probably help you as well.
yes, she understands when things are going okay or when things are going very wrong. So
Okay.
she's the conscience of the company.
Okay. And well, there was like any barrier? You say it was quite easy starting your own company in Netherlands, even from a bureaucracy point of view. Okay.
Yeah, yes. Creating the company is easy. Keeping the company afloat is the hard part. I think people focus on entrepreneurship into starting, but the finish is where you suffer the most, and this is going to be like the hard part of on your nerves. This is what's going to give you nightmares every night, and question yourself every night. Should I continue or should I stop? Is it worth it? Because basically everything works against you.
Time.
You run out of time all the time, you know? money is not an issue. You can always find ways to find a little bit of money, but if time works against you, this money runs out very quickly.
Yeah.
And uh, what in civil engineering, it's difficult because it's a conservative industry. It doesn't want to change easily. Everything takes time. And for example, as a startup, when you expect to have something happening in 2 months, you talk to a client that will see it happening in 2 years.
Okay. Well, yeah.
And this makes everything difficult. You
Yeah.
have to be very creative, very resilient, and yeah, it's not an easy path.
And what is your, let's say, day to day, or do you have a typical day as a part of your company? So do you spend most of the time, for example, talking to clients or managing a team?
I'm not
Yeah.
so, yes, I'm not so much managing the team now because the our software is basically running itself.
Okay.
There's a little bit of maintenance from now and then, but the most, yeah, the biggest activity is to stay connected, is to find opportunities to get people to get interested, to get some new projects. That's basically, that's the main focus of my activity.
Okay. And you mainly are your customer targets in Netherlands, or it could be anywhere in Europe or in the world? So,
It is anywhere in Europe,
okay.
because we try to be cost efficient, so we take advantage of the data that is available.
Okay.
You know that the European Union has an incentive to get the INSA data over the entire
Yep.
Europe. There's the EGMS, the European Ground Motion Service. So you have
Yep.
access to free data, free
Okay.
INSA data. So we tend to use that a lot because
Okay.
we keep the cost down to the customer.
Okay.
So we work with companies in Belgium,
Okay.
France, Netherlands. Yeah.
And you just mentioned this. So for you having, because over the last 10, 15 years, we luckily we were able to access more and more satellite data, most of them for free. So that was an asset, was actually not a barrier for you, for your company, your idea of.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Because we do not generate INSA data.
Okay.
For the companies that are generating INSA data, it's a competition. Yeah.
Okay.
Free data available, where their core business is to create data. But for us, for the interpretation, it's
Okay.
actually very positive because it saves us the cost of doing the processing ourselves.
And no, thanks. And was stuff was really interesting. Just I want to go back now at the beginning of your career, your academic career. So do you think already when you started your university, you wanted to work on the oil and gas industry? Or also you already thought, no, at some point I want to run my own company. I
Uh,
want to be the boss. I want to.
no, this is something that came later
Okay.
after changing companies many times and working for different type of management, corporations, startups. This is where I wanted to do my own company. When I was a graduate, when I finished and graduated, first of all, I didn't choose geology, for example, as my dream
Okay.
study.
Okay.
I was
Glad to know. I will cut this part. So.
no,
No, I'm
I was hesitating between
okay.
biology and geology.
Okay.
And, we had to do both and choose.
Okay.
And during my geology part, it was it was an eye opener. I discovered the
Okay.
community. I discovered friendship between students and teachers.
Okay.
We were going on the field trips together,
Okay.
staying
Yeah.
in the same hotel and eating together and then going on a field, helping each other. And we kept these bonds even when we came back from the field. So it was a lot more human, if you want, than being
Interaction,
2,000
yeah.
in an amphitheater and doing something with a teacher that you never talk to. So
Okay.
that's where the passion came.
So you never had second thought even after you graduated?
No,
Okay.
when I made my choice, I was there. And then oil and gas is because, as you said, yeah, it was the
The
place.
money maker, yeah.
Yeah, it was the place to be.
Okay. For example, yeah, I had a similar path to you in the way that, yeah, I love structural geology, but luckily I didn't go through. I failed the PhD to for that position, so I end up in remote sensing. So I never regret actually. And that's Reda, and for me was my last question. So I just want to thank you for your time.
You're welcome.
And yeah, for all the viewers, I will see you our next episode.